Evidence and chain of custody by sewell and Mccrary. Physical evidence is anything that is physically in your possession. It could be bones, anything to that sort, anything that they can use in court to get the killer to plead guilty. Trace evidence is really any material that can be used or transferred during the commission of a violent crime. These trace materials include human hair, animal hair, textile fibers, fabric, rope, feather, soil, glass, or building materials. So anything that can really carry a trace on them or that could contain evidence is really anything that is used to trace. So that could be like on the bullet that has a fingerprint. They could take the bullet and get the fingerprint off of it and potentially carry it back to the killer, or at least they could carry it back to a manufacturer that could have credit card records of when that was bought or anything of that sort. Transient evidence is really evidence that has been transmitted, so it could have the gunpowder from the bullet. Whenever the bullet was shot, it leaves traceable evidence. Conditional evidence is anything in that condition. So you could say the temperature, or something that only doesn't change or cannot be changed unless it is in that specific time. So the temperature outside, the temperature of the deep freeze of which Marjorie was placed in, could also be used. That specific temperature is very vital to how the body was processed. If it's too cold, if it's too hot, then it could potentially make it decompose faster because the body's core temperature rises, and when that happens, it attracts more mammals or animals because of the temperature and the heat it's letting off. Biological evidence refers to hair, skin, nails, deposits of semen, anything of that sort that is really as what your bodily fluids. So it could be spit, urine. Most biological evidence can be traced back to the blood under fingernails. It could be traced back to urine around, or even feces from animals can be traced back. Miscellaneous evidence is kind of what the name says it all. It's anything that really should not be there or is there. It's just random facts, like say if the killer slices the throat and blood gets splattered all over the wall, they're going to need to take that whole piece of wall. Or if it gets deposited on a paint can, or in the case of Marjorie, she was laying in the deep freeze, so her body would have bled out. So blood would have been on packages of carrots or peas or packages of meat. Anything of that sort that really carries evidence on it will be taken and used. Chain of custody is really the referral to the legal context refers to the chronological documentation or paper trail showing the seizure, custody control, transfer, analysis, disposition of physical or electronic evidence. So it could be a computer log of when the evidence was taken out, when the evidence was put back in. It'll also be used in court. So if you were the last person to obtain that evidence, and let's say a bullet casing was missing, they would go back to you looking for that bullet casing because that could have been a valuable piece of evidence to decide if he was guilty or not guilty. So really, evidence has to be very well maintained, because if you do not place it back right, if you do not use it properly, or if you even damage it, it can have many factors